this tutorial we will be taking a closer look at the Workspace Basics. Where is our toolbar located? Where are our palettes located? Where's the menu options? How to save a workspace, and also how to kind of navigate our way around the workspace. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. First of all, we have a canvas space. If you look here on our document, there is a fine line that is a rectangle that shows where our working space is. This is very important because this shows where our document is. Anything inside those lines is what will be shown when we print or when we save it out for a client. The things outside of those lines will not appear. So let's say I came over and I were to, don't worry about how I'm doing this, but let's say I were to draw a square outside here. That square in this instance is kind of a paste area where we can put different ideas, and we can brainstorm, and we can use this area outside here to while we're working, and then when we're ready to use it, we can definitely drag it inside the square so that it is then visible for our client or for when we save it out. This is something that I use constantly when I'm brainstorming or when I'm working. I'll put my different tools and design elements outside the workspace, and then as I need it, I'll drag it in and pull it in. This is a little bit different if you've used Photoshop. Photoshop cuts everything off at those edges and you can't see them. It automatically crops it at those edges. And this is kind of a cool feature that I like in Adobe Illustrator because it allows me to get everything out there, and slowly I can pull bits and pieces in and to finally make my design. Let's go ahead and find our toolbar. The toolbar is located on the left hand side. Toolbar contains all the different tools within Illustrator that you can use to make shapes and lines and paths and text. They've got brushes and pens and all sorts of other tools. I do not use all the tools in this toolbar. I use a select few that I will go through. You may find that there's some in here that I don't cover that you like. Go ahead and play with them, experiment with them. I just haven't found any use for them personally that I like. One thing to note about the toolbar is on some tools, if you look in the bottom right hand corner of the square, there's a little triangle. That triangle means that there's more tools contained within that one tool. If I click and hold my click, it pulls up a whole nother menu where I can go and I can select among other tools that are within that one. And these tools are generally grouped within, or they're grouped in a way that has similar tools grouped together. I know I kind of rambled there a little bit, but for example, all the things that have to do with the pen tool are found within the pen tool option here. And so I've got my pen tool, I've got my add anchor, delete anchor, and convert anchor. They're all related. And there's a few of these that do this. Our shape tool, for example, we've got a rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, star, flare tool. So they're all related tools within that one tool. Our menu bar. Just like any program, up at the top there is a menu bar. We have our File, Edit, Object, Type, Select, Filter, Effect, View, Window, and Help. Nothing too fancy about this. That's pretty typical with most programs. On the right hand side we have our palettes. The palettes are hidden by default. You can't see them, but as we click on them, for example, let's click on the symbols palette. When I click on it, it pops up and it shows different symbols that are available to me. I can click on the color palette, same thing, it pops up. And so throughout the tutorials we will be dealing with different palettes, and we'll be explaining what you can do with those palettes, and these are very, very helpful. So become familiar with them, understand them, because you will be using them a lot. Let's go ahead, and obviously Illustrator cannot show you every single palette that is available. You just don't have enough room and enough screen real estate to do something like that. To see or view the other palettes that are available to you, simply go up to your menu bar and go to Window. On the window, there's a whole list from actions all the way down to variables of different palettes that you have available to you. These are very, very helpful. Click around. We will be messing with a good amount of them, but not all of them. So if you want to get more in depth, go ahead and use them. So let's go ahead. For example, I do not have my, let's see, what don't I have showing right now? I do not have an actions palette showing. I'm going to go ahead and click that. Let's say I want this to show up permanently. By default, our original palettes that we're showing were on the right hand side. You can, just like in Photoshop, save a workspace. This is easily done. If you go to Window, Workspace, Save Workspace, you can save out different workspaces for different needs. So I could save this workspace and it would save the Actions palette for me in that corner. Now if I want to get back to the original, the default that Illustrator has, simply go to Window, Workspace. You can now see that my Marks workspace is available there, and I can click on Basic. It now reloads to the original. Now let's say I save a workspace and I later want to get rid of it. Simple again, go Window, Workspace, Manage Workspaces. Let's click on Marks, click on the trash can, and click OK. Now Marks workspace is no longer available. So this way you can customize some of your workspaces. If you have a few palettes that Illustrator doesn't default to that you use a lot, you can have those available to you. Now let's talk a little bit about zooming in and out. Zooming in and out is very easily done. You can use the magnifying glass over on the left hand side in your toolbar, but I never use that. It's just not a quick and efficient way to navigate through your document. I like to use quick key functions. First of all, let's learn how to zoom in. If you hold Command and then hit your plus key, it zooms in. If I hit the minus key on my keyboard holding Command down, zooms out. Now let's say I wanted to zoom into a very specific point on my document. This can be done easily by holding Command, Spacebar, and then I click and drag, and it automatically will find a specific spot within my document. Now to zoom out doing the same type of thing, I can hit Alt, Option, Command, Shift, and then click, and it zooms me back out. I don't use that one as often because the command minus helps me zoom out easier. That's the two that I use most of, the command plus and minus. They're very, very helpful. The last thing I wanted to show you for navigating around your workspace is to hold spacebar down. If I hold spacebar down, it pulls up a hand on my screen. This hand allows me to grab my document and move it around without moving any of my contents. So watch, as I click, you can see the hand is now in a grasping position, and I can drag my document around, and I can position it. If my palettes are covering things up and I can't quite see what I need to, this is something that I use constantly. So get used to using that also. They have that tool over on the left hand side again, the hand tool. Never use the hand tool. I always just hold down spacebar. So this should give you a little bit of the fundamentals of how to get around in Illustrator and how to operate within it.